Attention American consuming public. You are being brainwashed. Engage ultracolor mode.
Hello, sweethearted consumer. Thank you for your attention. Would you like nothing more than to ascend into a higher realm of being? Hello, sweethearted consumers. Today's topic is radical self-love. Love for your enemies. Unicorn. For yourself. Crystals are amazing. If you want to have a quartz by your heart, it'll just kind of amplify your heart. Magic is simply the unseen. It's the layers upon layers of reality.
Your reality is reality. Your reality is legit.
How to connect to God, angels, aliens. I got visited by aliens last night.
My aura is a rainbow, flashing.
People who have mental disorders really have the answers. Cam Church, Cam Church. It's time for Cam Church. Welcome to Camp Church, everyone, live streamed from a living room congregation, being filmed as well, which is exciting. We will announce that Camp Church is beginning. Camp Church, Camp Church. Should we all yell Camp Church when that happens? Okay. Camp Church, Camp Church. And for those of you watching at home, please also yell Camp Church. Okay, so today's topic is artificial intelligence and the soul.
It's been a while since I last went to Sunday service, but I'm here at Unicole's house this morning for something called Cam Church.
I let the spirit of uni inspire me. I let the spirit of uni be my guide.
Which she live streams to the world from her living room. Cam Church feels similar to other more mainstream religious services. There's praying,
Call upon all of the energies.
preaching,
When we treat all things, all people, with enough respect,
and singing.
my universe loves me.
Unicult may not fit the stereotype of your typical cult. Founded by Unicole in 2012, this modern and mostly millennial spiritual group exists on the internet, and according to its webpage, is for anyone who wants to work towards a bright and hopeful future. Despite being the subject of its own MTV documentary in 2015, Unicult had since maintained a pretty low profile. That is until 2018, when the group made national headlines after launching an Indiegogo campaign to raise funds for a robot brothel where patrons would be required to gain consent from the robots before having their way with them. But while everyone else is battling to log off to improve their quality of life, who are these people finding their spiritual salvation online?
My universe loves me.
The day we attended, people tuned in from around the world. But the IRL congregation consisted of only 4 people. So you've known Unicole for some years. Are you an official member of Unicult?
I am.
You are?
I am.
Since when?
Like 2013.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. When I first met Unicole, I was so taken aback and impressed by her energy. She has so much momentum behind her. I don't know a lot of people like that.
And what do you get out of being part of Unicult?
It's almost like a magnet of bringing like-minded people together, people that think like me and see the world in similar ways as me, or meeting new people.
One member in attendance was new and had just received her welcome package.
Yeah, it's a welcome letter.
That's cute. Christina, what brought you to Cam Church today? Were you looking for a spiritual connection? Were you looking for some kind of religion?
Not necessarily like a religion, but more of an understanding of myself.
We are something greater as humankind.
I've always felt like I've never really belonged to any certain group or really related to many people. Being in this space, it's truly a blessing.
Christina would not be the first member we spoke with to bring up the feeling of not belonging in society. Beyond magic and rainbows, One thing that Unicult does offer its following is the promise of something potentially deeper. Tell me about your art. Did you paint all of these?
I did. So yeah, this is me as a moon goddess.
Why are you a moon goddess on the moon?
I feel really connected to the moon, and I do a lot of rituals around the moon, so.
And what's the little pink castle?
A castle of dicks. Yeah.
Show me the way.
A lot of my self-portraits are manifestations. So in this case, this is something that will happen someday.
Luxuriantly fed grapes by a drone.
I'd say give it 5 years.
Wow, I love it.
How we see our own reality is what creates our reality.
You have a lot of books.
I love books, I love information. Part of my work here on this planet is to understand how everything works and create new systems.
I noticed you said part of my work on this planet.
I am what people call a starseed.
One of the more unusual aspects of Unicult is this idea that Unicole is something called a starseed,
Rainbows.
placed here on Earth by a group of space beings called Arcturians in order to empower others to find joy. Does it bother you that people maybe don't believe you or think you're crazy or
No.
the naysayers?
Ultimately, that's their problem.
So let's start like way back. What was your childhood like? Tell me a bit about that.
I grew up in a small farm town in Colorado, and I was raised by my dad. Yeah, I just had like a really traditional life. I was trying really hard to sort of understand and fit into social narratives. When I went into college, I think my preconceptions about what the world was going to be like were just so crushed. So I got severe depression and anxiety and agoraphobia. I ended up trying to seriously kill myself. I drove up to a mountain and I took a bunch of pills that I had, and I barely made it up there. I was throwing up like a white chalk because that's how many pills I had taken. And I was scooping it back into my mouth. I really wanted to die. And the next thing was I woke up in the hospital and I screamed, "Why the fuck am I alive?"
Really?
Because I didn't tell anyone where I had gone. It was a miracle. My dad drove into the wilderness, not knowing where I had gone, found my car, hiked up and down this mountainside, and found me at the bottom of a 20-foot cliff that I had fallen off of.
Wow.
And they resuscitated me within 2 hours of me dying.
Oh my goodness.
From that point, I was like, how am I going to survive on this planet the way I feel? All the social narratives and conventions, they weren't serving me and they weren't making me happy. And not only that, but they weren't ever going to. And so I basically had to say, fuck it, fuck everything, fuck society, fuck all the expectations. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to stay alive. And that ended up being really cool stuff, like believing in magic and believing in unicorns and starting a cult and making art and letting myself make music even though I didn't know how to make music. So all these different things that I felt like I couldn't do, suddenly I was given the license to do whatever I wanted, because otherwise life wasn't worth living. When I go outside for the first time in the day, I raise my hands to the window and I say, thank you for my life. That's something I started doing recently because I'm starting to finally feel like I can live on this planet.
One of the core tenets of Unicult is the idea of belief makes real, or empowering members to embrace imagination.
Come on, you guys, belief makes real. Come online with me and you'll see. Join the Unicult. You can trust me.
In keeping with this idea of creating your own reality, Unicult, unlike other religions, encourages its members to cherry-pick only the teachings that resonate with them. So then, who is Unicult? Who are your members? Is there a demographic?
I don't know what is the same with all of us, except that we all believe in a hopeful future.
Unicult's constituents are spread around the world and come from many different backgrounds, which may say something about the very nature of Unicult itself.
There's something about the Unicult that makes you feel comfortable living a magical life.
When I first joined Unicult, I was at a very dire place in my life.
I see the Unicult becoming a worldwide group.
In order to understand what about this religion ties people together, we went to the internet to speak to 3 members who live everywhere from rural Louisiana to Washington State. So, where do we start? What would you say that Unicult's offering people like you that other religions or groups have failed to offer?
Space. Just me being able to exist and to be acknowledged. And I feel like each religion's goal is to offer love, but I have not received that the way I have from until I've been in the Unicult.
I have a whole lot of more friends online. I have a community of people that I interact with now.
What was it specifically about Unicult spirituality that resonates with you?
It encourages imagination.
Yeah.
Unicult will reflect that imaginative side of you.
So yeah, tell me a little bit more about the ways in which Unicult has added value to your life.
So it definitely helped me overcome depression. And I've met a lot of people through Unicult that were going through similar things and just made a lot of friends.
I was diagnosed with psychotic depression at a really young age. After joining the Unicult, it just gave me a lot more confidence to be present in the world, being your authentic self. Or before, I thought this is the scariest thing, but it's like the more you choose to see things in a way that you know makes you feel good, that's where the healing and the transformation kind of starts.
It's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much for your time and energy.
Thank you.
Take care, Cedar. Unibless. Unicult's membership has grown since its MTV debut in 2015. But in order to take Unicult to the next level, Unicole hopes to one day have dedicated spaces that exist in the real world. Unicole is turning to her friend for inspiration.
Hi, how are you? It's amazing in here.
It looks as amazing as it smells. Wow.
It's supposed to smell like rainbows.
It does. I didn't know what rainbows smelled like before now. And you live here?
Yeah, so...
Wow. Is this your bedroom?
Yeah.
I really feel so much coming in here.
I just love like living in a cloud and having that kind of dream world all the time.
How do you see Unicult fitting into wider society?
My hope is that as Unicult grows, people understand it more. And as each person understands the fundamental concepts of Unicult, which are just that they have value and that their own unique truth is important, we'll start to incorporate that more into society.
All the spaces I create are Reiki infused, which is like an energy healing practice.
Yeah, this is very
this
cool.
is the guest room.
It's a very calming color palette.
Yeah. I mean, number one thing is to inspire people with color. I think the world is really afraid of color as a whole. And even just going out day-to-day life, like people are like, they just look at me like, what are you doing? Like, you know, or they think I'm going to a party and I'm just like, this is how I live every day. Like every day should be how you want to be yourself in and like.
And that's just like so much of what Unicult is trying to do as well, you know, is like inspire people to be their authentic selves and to just like live from our hearts. And I think you're such a great example of someone who's just like doing it.
It just makes life that much more better and not so painful.
Why the decision to go with calling it a cult and go with, you know, language like brainwashing?
It's a barrier to entry. People who say, oh, I'm not going to join a cult, cults are bad. and they don't think deeper about it, they aren't ready for Unicult.
Right.
You have to think deeply to dismantle your reality and to create a new world.
Carve a symbol into the candles to manifest something as the moon becomes more full. It can be like letting go of fear, letting go of something that you've been trying to let go of that's sort of been haunting you.
Back at HQ, we all sat around a laptop as Unicole's friends Skyped in something called a theta healing ceremony. Something to do with the full moon, I think.
Blessings.
Blessings. We'd love to hear more about, AI and robotics as well.
Yeah, definitely. I can even download all of your cell phones to delete out all the radiation and alert your angels and the spirits that exist around all of you.
Unicult started online. Do you think that it could survive offline?
I actually think Unicult would do better offline. People have more patience for something that's in front of them.
All right, go like this.
What would you say to people on the outside looking in who say, the trouble with millennials is we are too self-obsessed, are too precious, and we create these problems for ourselves. We invent solutions for problems that aren't really there, and that Unicult is just another manifestation of that.
All of those critiques are trauma-based.
That is a bright and powerful moon.
If you are someone who has accepted society and you fit into that structure, you've been traumatized. And a lot of baby boomers and older generations have suffered a great deal of trauma at the hands of our toxic society. Most millennials I know are working way harder than anybody else trying to just get by. Unicult, as it appeals to millennials, is because it's appealing to people's true hearts.
These are all for the fairies. Thank you, Earth.
The universe is unlimited. Anything is possible. If we expand our minds to the point where we can start to believe that anything is possible, our own lives start to become magic, and our world starts to become magical as well.
Wow, it looks so cool.
Yeah, what is that?
Unicult isn't therapy, it's empowerment. It's about listening to what you really want and being radical enough to stand up for yourself.
Uh-huh.
This is really bad. I have an application for Unicult, so might as well apply. On a scale of 1 to 10, how fulfilled do you feel in your day-to-day interactions? Do you believe in science? Hell yes. Do you believe in magic? Sorry, no. Also, who knows? Do you believe in yourself? Yeah. It's easy to look at Unicult and think, well, it was only a matter of time before someone took all these millennial zeitgeisty things and sort of crystallized them into an ideology. But it seems to me as though what Unicult offers its members is a sort of digital sanctuary. It makes them feel special and allows them to project these wishful realities away from the grind of life on Earth. Unicole's vision is noble and lofty, but as her followers age, it remains to be seen whether this very millennial moment will translate over time. You did it. I feel like maybe I won't get accepted.